Sam Wilson has donned the mantle of Captain America and taken to the skies to usher in a brave new world, and the world responded with,
Jesus Christ!
Now, since this movie was released, I've heard both sides of the argument. I've heard some people say that it's an amazing movie that they can't wait to see again, and I've heard others say that it's the worst MCU movie ever made. And to those people, I have to ask, have you seen Thor: Love and Thunder?
Oh my goodness!
That movie set a new level of low for Marvel movies that I don't think they will ever cross in their entire tenure, and that is not a challenge, Disney. However, I fall somewhere in the middle of this. I think Captain America: Brave New World is one of the most inoffensive, mediocre movies I've seen in years. It falls into the same tax bracket as like Iron Man 2, Thor: The Dark World, Ant-Man and the Wasp, so on and so forth. However, it shouldn't have ended up this way, because this is a movie where Captain America has to stop the leader from causing World War III, and it culminates in a 1v1 with the Red Hulk. This movie should have been fire, but it's not, for one simple reason: the marketing. Now, I get that there's a lot of problems with this movie. It went through extensive reshoots, it's got characters that don't need to be in the movie, it has lackluster action, a disappointing finale, but the main problem, in my opinion, if you didn't change anything else in this movie, is the marketing. Because unlike other films where the marketing is used to go like, hey, look at these fun things that are in the movie, we have so much more to offer, but we're keeping it close to our chest. This movie just dumped the biggest climactic reveal for you in every single piece of it. In every trailer, in every interview, in every action figure, in every carrier pigeon that can get the message to the audience. It tells you that Captain America: Brave New World has the Red Hulk in it and he's gonna fight Captain America. That's the big selling point of this movie. And it shouldn't have been, because it's the equivalent of telling the audience who the killer is in a whodunit murder mystery prior to them entering the theater. It completely ruins any enjoyment they're going to have, because now, instead of sitting there watching the film, building the anticipation of the big reveal, they're just sitting there like, well, I know the guy did it. I don't really care anymore seeing how we got to that point. It would be fun on a rewatch after I experienced it the first time, but now I'm just sitting here like,
Let's go already!
And that's not how you want people to feel about your movie. The best way I can describe this is by saying there's like a hollow void in your chest where your excitement should be for the movie. The best time this happened to me, or I guess the worst time that this happened to me, was actually with the last Captain America movie, Civil War. Before I had gotten a chance to watch any of the trailers or see the movie itself, one of my friends spoiled the fact that Spider-Man was going to be in the movie. So when I saw it for the first time, and Tony Stark goes,
Underoos!
and we see Spidey flip on screen for the first time, I wanted to be happy, I wanted to be excited, but there was this weird feeling in my chest where my body was like, yeah, like, we want you to be excited, but you're not, because you already knew this was going to happen. And that's exactly how Captain America: Brave New World feels, because the linchpin of the entire film is Red Hulk. Leader's plan is to make the Red Hulk a thing. So given that the entire movie is centered around the secret of Red Hulk existing in the first place, it completely shatters any semblance that anyone's gonna care about it, because everyone knows that he's in the movie. You can't even walk into the theater to see Brave New World without seeing a fucking poster of Sam Wilson fighting the Red Hulk before you get to your seat. You are going to know that this character exists, and it's all due to the terrible marketing. This movie shouldn't have been framed from the perspective of, oh, it's a movie where Captain America faces the Red Hulk, but there's gonna be more in the movie because, you know, obviously, we wouldn't put the big thing that the entire movie hinges on, the big twist reveal, in every piece of its marketing, right? That'd be really stupid.
Wrong!
So now, everyone's sitting in the theater, and instead of focusing on the positives, they're sitting there like, man, there's no Red Hulk here just yet. And why is this annoying fake-ass Black Widow on the screen right now? Which is not me being a dick. She literally is just a surrogate for Natasha's Black Widow. Right down to the fact that she is a Red Room assassin, just like Natasha was. And it's there to fill out the trinity that Winter Soldier had of Captain America, Falcon, and Black Widow. So in this movie, we have Captain America, Falcon, and a girl who was trained in the same program as Black Widow, but isn't called Black Widow. Her name is Ruth.
You promised these children Krabby the Clown, but all I saw out there was
Jimmy the Cheapskate!
You start noticing things like everyone in this movie has amnesia because apparently no one knows about Bucky Barnes the Winter Soldier or that Scarlet Witch exists because multiple people get brainwashed and mind controlled in this film, and there's like one really vague moment where Sam mentions that Bucky was mind controlled without ever actually saying that Bucky was mind controlled. He basically goes like, you know, I knew someone at one point in time whose mind got messed with. Maybe it's something like that. And it's like, motherfucker, everyone in the world knows who Bucky Barnes is. He's running for congressman. Everyone knows the whole situation with Zemo and the UN and the brainwashing. Like, why are we being vague here? Did you think I didn't watch Winter Soldier? Because honestly, it's more likely more people have seen that than are going to see this. So what the fuck is happening here? Everyone acts like this. No one remembers that Wanda can manipulate minds. No one remembers that people can brainwash people like they did with Bucky. All of a sudden, everybody's just like, oh, all of these people that clearly started acting extremely differently the second this weird song started playing are 100% responsible for all the crimes that they did, instead of going,
that's suspicious.
all of these people activated kind of like some kind of mind-controlled soldier when that music started and then started doing things that they normally wouldn't do.
That's weird.
Ah, whatever, they probably just did it. What am I questioning it for? You start focusing in on things like that. You start noticing the action in this movie doesn't hold a candle to the previous 3 movies. Sam doesn't really have the same level of style that Steve did with his fights, and it's really disappointing. I get the fact that Sam is a normal guy, that he doesn't have superpowers, but that's not really a justification, because by that logic, then every fight in Daredevil should suck. Because Daredevil doesn't have powers at all. And every fight in Shang-Chi should suck. The majority of Shang-Chi, he does not have the 10 rings. He's just got straight hands. Are you telling me all of those fights suck because he doesn't have a super soldier serum? No, you wouldn't say that. So it's clearly just a problem of the choreography and direction of these fights in Brave New World that makes them less impactful in comparison to other movies of people who just throw hands with individuals. And there's plenty more issues to bring up about this movie, but you get my point. When you have nothing to look forward to because the thing you're waiting for doesn't happen until the last 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, you're just sitting there pissed off, harping on all of the negatives that the film has to offer, and you're blinded to all of the good parts of the movie. Because I don't want to get it twisted here. This movie actually does have good elements that I have been waiting years to see on screen. Now, notoriously, I'm on record saying I'm not a fan of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think the show is okay, but I think it needed a lot more work and has a lot of narrative issues that make it very irritating to watch. But they fixed a lot of problems that I had in that show in this movie. Case in point, the character of Isaiah Bradley. I was not a big fan of Isaiah in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought that the fact they just had him exposit his entire backstory and we didn't get a flashback or other characters corroborating what he was saying, we were just told it, had to accept it at face value regardless of any contradictions that you could think of about the story, which was unfortunate because I rewatched all of the Captain America movies before watching that show, and there are contradictions in those movies to what his story is saying, and it just really irked me as I was watching it. But in Brave New World, he probably has the best scene in the entire movie. Not that they go back to his like origin story and show us that or anything, but in Brave New World, there is a moment after he is brainwashed by the leader into doing a botched assassination attempt against President Ross. Isaiah snaps out of the mind control, surrounded by SWAT teams of police, and he starts freaking out. He's like, what's going on? I don't know why I'm here. Sam, what's happening? What's going on? I thought we were just at the White House. I thought we were having fun. What's it? And Sam's just like, listen, Isaiah, I understand you don't know what's going on, but you have to turn yourself over to the police right now or they're going to kill you. And Isaiah's like, but Sam, no. They kept me locked up. They tortured me for 30 years. I can't go back to prison. Sam's like, I get it, but you have to do it, otherwise you're going to die right now. And Isaiah begrudgingly gives himself up peacefully to the police. And what makes the scene even worse is that although he's giving himself up peacefully, the police are manhandling him, being extremely aggressive while they're arresting him. Which, just because he's a super soldier, that doesn't justify a person giving up peacefully being, manhandled in the way that he was. And what makes it worse is that Isaiah was wearing a suit that he told us he married his wife. And it was either he married his wife or he proposed to her in that suit. But either way, it's a suit that holds extreme sentimental value because, as we learned from his exposition dump in The Falcon and Winter Soldier, Isaiah's wife was outside of the whole situation of him being wrongfully imprisoned. They told her that he was dead. And although she didn't believe it, she kept writing him letters, and they never let a single letter get to him. So his wife had no contact with him after he was wrongfully imprisoned, and she died while he was still in there. He never got to see her again. That suit is the last remnant, the last piece of his soul that's connected to the woman he loved. And these officers are destroying that suit as they're arresting him. It's really hard to watch, but it's so good because you feel the emotion in the scene. It's fantastic. There's other things in the movie, like Sam. Sam's story in this is what I expected of him in The Falcon and Winter Soldier. Sam talks in that show about how the world doesn't want a black man being Captain America and that he can feel people watching him that don't want him to be Captain America, but we never see it. As a matter of fact, we see the exact opposite. Everyone in that show is totally down for Sam being Captain America, so when he says that stuff, you're just kind of sitting there like,
what? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But in Brave New World, this is completely different. Ross, the President of the United States, is actively against Sam. Sam is doing the right thing. He's trying to investigate the leader, find out who attempted to assassinate Ross, what their plan is, why they brainwashed Isaiah, and Ross is just trying to cover his own ass and is actively blocking Sam at every which turn so that he never figures out who the leader is and what he's up to. We see the opposition and we can feel Sam being isolated from the people that are supposed to be able to help him. And I think that's great. That's fantastic. Sure, they could have done better with it because Sam does have like a squadron of like Air Force pilots and military that are loyal to him that help him throughout the movie. It would have worked a lot better if he didn't have anyone besides Joaquin helping him until Joaquin gets injured later in the film. But regardless, they do that to emulate that emotion of Sam as being isolated. And I think that's great because we actually see the people that he's talking about being like, yeah, people don't want me to be Captain America. Who? Oh, the President of the fucking United States doesn't want you to be Captain America. That's great. I actually like that. I also especially love the conversation he has with Bucky about why he believes he shouldn't have become Captain America. Mainly because I expected the conversation they had in this show to be the plot of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Sam exclaims in this show that he feels like he can't live up to the mantle of Steve, that he shouldn't have taken up the shield as Captain America and he should have just let it die because he'll never be the next Steve Rogers. He'll never be a proper Captain America. That's what I expected Falcon and Winter Soldier to be. It wasn't, because like towards the end of the show, they bring up the fact that Sam's like, well, you know, the burden of being Captain America as a black man is why I didn't take up the shield. And I was just like, when did you say that? You never said that. Why is Bucky apologizing for that? What is happening right now? And that really bothered me because it felt like it came clear out of left field and they were just trying to use that to tie back into Isaiah's story, which I wasn't fond of. But here, Sam just blatantly says it. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I expected because you quit being Captain America before being Captain America. You didn't face any burden or oppression because you weren't Captain America yet in that show. So what do you mean you gave up on being Captain America because of the burden of being Captain America when you didn't even try? But now, we've seen Sam as Captain America. We've seen how he screwed up with letting Joaquin get hurt by letting him out there as Falcon. And now, he's relenting on taking up the mantle, thinking he can't do it. He thinks he should have taken the super soldier serum. So Bucky has a conversation with him saying that, no, Sam, you don't need that serum. Steve and I know that you're the right person to be Captain America. And he goes into a whole monologue about how Steve inspired people with hope because they believed in him. They trusted Steve to protect them. But Sam is kind of the exact opposite. Sam isn't inspiring people to believe that he'll protect them. He's inspiring people to be better because Sam is just a guy. He's a dude with a high-tech suit, sure, but he's just a dude, a normal human being without superpowers, yet he's fighting aliens and super soldiers and crazed gamma-infused supervillains. Like, that's why people look up to Sam and they're like, yo, if he could do it, I could do it too. Hell, that comes full circle in the final scene of the movie where Sam has a conversation with Joaquin, where Joaquin reveals to Sam that he was his favorite Avenger, that when he was growing up, he saw Sam as Falcon fighting against all of the other people, and he thought that that was so cool. That's why he joined the Air Force. But, you know, we didn't feel that in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I'm happy we got to see it now. But at the end of the day, no one gives a shit about those good parts of the movie because, well, everyone's sitting here waiting for Red Hulk because that's what the movie was telling you about. Every trailer was telling you Red Hulk is the biggest, baddest thing in this movie, so you should be excited only for him to be in like 10 minutes of the movie. At the very end, it completely ruins this entire film, and I feel so bad for it because imagine a world where this wasn't a case. Imagine a world where Brave New World, again, not changing anything else, like the movie itself is still exactly the same way as it is, all the problems included. But imagine a world where the marketing for Brave New World focused on the leader, you know, the actual antagonist of the movie. Sure, he's not a guy that, like, you know, you're gonna punch and kick by the end of the film. That's fine. You don't need a villain that you gotta punch and kick by the end of the film. Some of the most interesting villains ever were just people who were really smart. So we don't need the leader to be that kind of guy, but he could still get the right and proper marketing that he deserves being the antagonist. Focus it more on this mysterious descent of Sam having to investigate what's going on. Why did Isaiah randomly try and attack Ross? Who's trying to destroy the deal for the adamantium? Oh, that's right. I didn't mention that. So, like, World War III is about to happen in Brave New World because multiple countries in the world are trying to go to Celestial Island. Oh, yeah, I didn't mention that either. So the Celestial from Eternals that they killed is still in the Indian Ocean, and inside of it is adamantium. So all the countries in the world kind of want to get the adamantium. So, like, they're about to start a war over it, but then Ross offers a peace treaty to just equally divvy up the adamantium throughout the entire world. So now the leader is trying to mess up that plan to turn Ross into Red Hulk.
I don't really want this.
But the point is, focus the marketing on the leader, the actual antagonist. Show how menacing he can be just with his intellect. There's actually one shot in the movie that I really loved, and it might be my favorite shot in the movie. It's where Sam goes to attack the leader for the first time after he finally found him. And he has a trap laid because he knew Sam was going to try and swing at him. And then he gets, like, stuck to the ground because there's, like, a sonic cannon blasting on him. And the leader just walks up to Sam and looks down on him. And he's like, "Don't be boring!" And I was like, oh, okay, Tim Blake Nelson. I felt that. That was pretty good. I like that. Why don't we have more of this in the movie? And the leader is smart enough that there's moments that he has lines in the movie where he talks about how he mapped out the probability of what each character would do and how things are going to his plan and how Sam usurped that probability by actually finding him. Like, use scenes like that in the trailer to make people interested in the movie instead of banking solely on the Red Hulk. That way, when you actually see the film, people are going to lose their minds. Because if I was sitting in that theater and other comic nerds like myself and we knew nothing about the Red Hulk being in the movie, we'd been watching it, and that first time that Ross gets really mad and they get, like, really tense and dramatic, we would have been sitting there like, wait, they're not, wait a minute, you're not doing Red Hulk, right? Like, he's not Red Hulk right now, right? And that's why it was, like, all tense and dramatic. No, there's got to be another reason. Then we'll find out about Ross's heart condition, and I'll be like, oh, okay, see, that's why. And then we'll learn the leader was making his medication for him, and it's like, okay, so maybe the leader, like, poisoned it or something, and, like, if he gets too angry, it'll, like, kill him or something. That'll make sense, because, like, they're not gonna do Red Hulk, right? In a Captain America movie? They wouldn't do that. I mean, like, sure, they've done weird stuff like that before, like with Planet Hulk being in Thor Ragnarok, but no, right? Like, they wouldn't do that. not gonna do that. And then we get to the end of the movie where Ross turns into Red Hulk and Sam has to fight him 1v1, and everyone and their grandmother would have went,
Yeah! Woo! Woo!
like, the shockwaves of people seeing that would have been absolutely insane. But we don't have that because whoever ran the marketing department didn't think anyone would give a fuck about this movie if they didn't tell you the Red Hulk was in it. But you fucked it up. You had tons of reshoots, characters that don't need to be in it, and you marketed the linchpin of the movie in every trailer, so now no one gives a damn about it. And now you have people like me telling people that the Red Hulk is only in like 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, which is gonna make them not want to go and see it, which sucks because I want this movie to be good. I really did. I was hoping. I made an entire video critiquing Sam Wilson's character, saying why this movie had to work, and it's just mid, which is not good. It's passable, but we don't want passable anymore. We want things that are genuinely good. There's a reason I put it in the category with Iron Man 2, Thor, and fucking Ant-Man and the Wasp, because those are the most forgettable movies in those franchises. Even though people hate Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania and they hate Thor Ragnarok, you know what those movies are? Memorable, because people hate them to a visceral degree that they're fucking stuck in their minds. But Captain America Brave New World is just gonna be forgettable. Hell, there are scenes in this movie I can't remember now, and I saw it less than 7 days ago. So like, why did this movie have to be this way? Why did the marketing department have to ruin what could have been a better movie? Because I can guarantee you, if no one knew Red Hulk was in the movie and they got shocked by the surprise of him being in the film, then people would have been so excited. They would have been so hyped. And it would have raised the bar for the movie because people would have been like, yo, there's a shocking surprise at the end of the movie that I didn't see coming. You gotta check out Brave New World. And they'd be more forgiving of the more lackluster elements, of the reshoots that made the movie feel a bit bland, of the action not being as cool as it was in the previous movies, because the climax of the movie would have been worthwhile. But that's not how it is. Unfortunately, we are left with a movie that is just middle of the road, that is very inoffensive, that has flaws in it, sure, but at the end of the day, it's just like, well, I knew the entire plot of the movie going into it, so it didn't do anything special. I just kind of sat there for an hour and 58 minutes and then got up and left the theater like, there are worse ways I could have spent 2 hours, which, I don't know, for me, that just sucks. But let me know what all of you guys think. I'm desperately curious to see if you've even seen Brave New World to begin with, what you thought, if you agree with what I'm saying, or if you think this movie's completely irredeemable in every single aspect, or you love the movie and you want to see it numerous more times and you completely disagree with everything that I'm saying. I want to know what all of those opinions are. I'm curious. So, with all that being said, I am the Innocent Villain. Remember, folks, you're innocent until proven villainous, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.